Walking down a busy highway for no reason at all, drivers won't believe their eyes when they see how stylish and well-read you are. Sipping your third iced latte at an overpriced food court, walking with determination down a busy street, or just standing all serious on a flyover bridge, everyone will know that you're learning SEO and you'll look damn fabulous doing it. No one in the office joining you for a coffee break? Just find a colleague enjoying their lunch and hit them with some unsolicited SEO advice. Soon, everyone in the office will be begging you to improve their website. This book will make you go places. It will turn your world upside down. So hurry up and embark on a journey where knowledge meets fashion. Get your copy of the stunning SEO book for beginners now and conquer the SEO world in style.
Hello.
Okay, can everyone hear me? I want to check who is there. Chat.
Where knowledge meets.
If there's anyone in the chat. Hello, hello. No, Ahrefs will not go public. I mean, there's no news about that right now. Hello. Okay, yes. Okay, good. Yeah, yes, hello. Everyone who is here, you can say hi to each other. You can tell us where you're from. You can even say what your favorite tool is on Ahrefs platform, or what you like most about our tools. It would be good for us to get a show of hands of what you consider as your favorite tool. Yes, you're audible, but the voice is very low. How can I fix this? Is this the only person that is struggling to hear me? Is everyone else also struggling to hear me? Give me a moment, yeah? Let's see if I can improve the audio. Voice is better now. I didn't do anything. Okay. For that person who still finds it very difficult to hear me, I hope that I think other people are not really struggling. How about now? Can people hear me now? Can people hear me now? Yeah, so many countries. Sydney, Taiwan, Vietnam. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. Especially those that are calling in from Europe. It is very early for you guys right now. I thank you guys for coming in and joining us in today's webinar. Okay, I think I'll go ahead and get started. We usually have a longer trailer, but we haven't. We have a lot of interesting things lined up in this year's events, which I will talk about at the end of this webinar if you're interested, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let's talk about Site Audit. Site Audit is the tool that we're going to talk about today. I mainly want to highlight some of the common challenges that people face, like especially when people come into our customer support, they ask like a lot of the same questions over again. I just want to make sure we go through those today, as well as highlight some features that you guys probably don't know about that you should definitely take advantage of, because Site Audit is kind of like a very capable tool if you know what you are looking to do, if you know what features are actually available there. Someone said the site bulb is their favorite tool. I hope that today you might find Site Audit equally useful, and if any case, Site Audit is actually even available for like free if you are able to verify ownership of your website on the free plan. So like if you have friends who are just like, nah, you know, I just prefer other tools, they can give it a try. They don't even need to pay us to give it a go. Okay, so let's get started here. Previous status is better. All right. Okay, I'm back on the old mic. Should be fine. Until like everyone is very upset with the mic that I have, I don't think I want to touch it anymore. I want to get started so that we can end the webinar on time. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone. Generally, with Site Audit, a lot of people, when they use Site Audit, they just, if you follow along here, because I have my screen showing, so like the best thing you can do is as you're checking out, you can go to your Site Audit here and follow along with me here. But generally, when I see what people typically do with Site Audit, they just, you know, they run a crawl, they wait for the crawl to finish, and then they click on the crawl, and then they just go to the issues, and then they try to fix it, and then they contact support over here, and then they, you know, they basically say, okay, I don't understand this issue. How do I fix it? How do I fix it? What is the issue with in no index no follow page? How do I fix HTTPS page has internal links to HTTP? Things like that. Okay, and that is basically what most people do. But today we will talk about different use cases that are outside of just the basics of going through this list and checking out some issues. Okay, I also want to quickly talk about some of the very new features that we have launched recently so that you know what they are and how they work. First, I'd like you guys to help me answer this poll so I have an idea. Yes, thank you for the mic issue. Let's start a very quick poll here. Give me a moment. YouTube doesn't allow me to pre-make polls, so here I am copying and pasting stuff. Start poll. Here's a poll. Please help to answer it. I just want to know, what do you guys use Site Audit for? And if one of the options are not available here, I only have the ability to, I think, give 4 options. But if there is something that you guys like, that, oh, I definitely use Site Audit for this thing other than issues, you can also type it in chat so that I know and that other people know. And going back to our Site Audit page here, I'm going to close our chat. Hey, close our chat. There we go. Yep, as expected, most people just go to the summary of the issues and they go, okay, fix the stuff, right? Clear all the issues, get my score to 100. Okay, that's a cool one. Is new website migration audit, which is like a combination of everything. Like it wants to, not only are you fixing issues, you want to make sure that the redirects are set up correctly. You want to make sure the URL paths are correct. You want to make sure different features are available, that you don't lose capacity of the old website, but also the new website is presumably fixing or improving any like long-term issues that you have. That's a cool one. It's also like I think like Site Audit, I hope you find it very useful for website migrations. Okay, so let's get started by opening up this page that I have open here when you click Site Audit at the very top. Why do we want to start here? I just want to show you guys the navigation of how to go across to your different projects very quickly to make sure that you know what all of these things do. So the first thing is if you already know that if you click on this URL here, or maybe you don't know, but like if you click onto just the project name, okay, so if I only click on the score, then I open the most recent Site Audit crawl. See, this is 20 Feb. It's the most recent one I've set up here. But if I click on the name of the project, then I see a summary of all the Site Audit crawls I've done in history, right? And that lets me know, okay, recently, there is a huge spike in issues, right? And so if you've seen this over time, you can also check to see things like changes in health score. Again, this is useful for like if you're doing migration, so you recently made a new huge change to your website. You can also see that suddenly I have crawled so many more pages than before. This is a useful place to see something like that, where like, previously my score was really good, but actually I was not really crawling the entire website to check for issues. So this is a good place to check for that. Okay, so that's if you click the title. Now, if you click on issue settings, I think most of you have never clicked this before. So actually, in Ahrefs, all of these issues that you see are by default can be changed. We just create over 100 of them by default based on, for example, you don't want broken pages, you don't want pages that time out, you don't want broken URLs, things like that. So that's why the serious issues have the error warning. And then those that are warnings are not necessarily serious issues. They require manual checking. And then notices is just like letting you know that the crawler sees, for example, your URL changed, that this is now a no index page. So these are not issues. These are not like going to affect your SEO, but Site Audit will detect it and notify it so that if you did make those changes, it will keep all these changes noticed in one handy place for you to check, right? But yeah, you can change these. So like, for example, I may say I want to ignore broken pages. So I'm just going to turn it into a warning, right? I can do that. I can also turn it off for specific projects. All right, let's say I want to ignore this particular warning. I have some issue that has always been there. I don't care about it. I can turn it off for a specific project. So this is something I can also do. And later I can also tell you that you can add custom issues. Yeah, this is something you can also create. And so all of these can be managed. Right? Another thing also is that if you're working with a team and they tell you that the score is 100%, go into the settings page to make sure they didn't turn off all these errors. Because that is another way to make your Site Audit score like 100. They just turn off all the errors. And that's like a sneaky thing to do. Right? Okay. And lastly, let's go back. In this 3-dot menu, it has all your different settings. Whenever you want to change anything about a project, or you want to turn off email notifications, you can do it here from this menu here. In the settings, you can see that, yeah, by default, it shows you Site Audit settings. But you can also go to the settings of other different tools for the same project. Okay? So that's just orientating that when you open Site Audit for the first time, these are the different things that you can do on this page. So before we get started, I do want to highlight one of the latest features that we rolled out recently, and that is patches. Okay, what is patches? Okay, how many of you guys have heard of patches, the feature? Oh, sorry. There will be a Q&A. There will be a Q&A at the end of the session so that we can get through all the material as soon as possible. So for those that have questions, stay until the end to ask them so that everyone can get like all the content material, because otherwise I cannot guarantee that we'll finish it in an hour. Okay, so hold on to your questions. You can keep them somewhere, and then at the end I'll turn on Q&A and then we'll go through all of them. I hope that's fine. Including this, how can I get Ahrefs for free? I've like, this webinar is mainly for people who have a paid subscription, but since Site Audit, most features of Site Audit is available for free. So Webmaster Tools. The limited free version is here. Post. So only if you own a website, you can prove it. No. So patches, okay, all right, let's first explain what patches is. So a bit of a history lesson. So I used to work in customer success before I currently have this product marketing role. And what happened was that a lot of people, when they come in, like Site Audit support queries is one of the highest. I think people just come in, they really want to understand like a lot of these issues that are flagged they've never seen before. They may not even know what a sitemap is, or the first time they see issues related to structured data, things like that. And so once we suggest them what changes they can make, they say, oh, I have to talk to my programmer. I have to let my technical team know I'm not the one managing the website. And it gets very tedious. And then, unfortunately, even though they know their issues, they have to wait a long time to work with their technical side of the team or whoever helps manage the website to make those changes. And it gets very frustrating. Well, patches is sort of the issue that feature that can help to enable so that you can make those changes in Site Audit without like talking to your technical team, without needing to work with them, as long as some setup is done first. Why don't you see patches on your plan? It's because it's an add-on. Okay, it's an add-on. Here. It is a Project Boost Max add-on. Here. So for any website, so this is very useful for people who are working on like 1 mega website and they work in teams. And patches is very useful for such a thing. Because like if you're like working with, like if many people deal with the website all the time and you only handle either the SEO part of it or, you know, specific part of the website, you just want to make changes without needing to go through all your technical team to make sure it's done. This is what this feature is for. But yeah, you need to purchase the Project Boost Max for that project. Okay, so I have it active for BloggerJet right now. So if I click onto it, I can see all the patches that I made previously, right? What it was before. So previously, a lot of these pages didn't have a meta description, right? To explain how it works, patches works by having a JavaScript script that is put into the header of the head component of your blog, of your website. And what it does is that as the website loads, the script will know where you have set up like changes in Site Audit, and we'll go to change that portion of it for you. So the page will load, then this script loads, and then it'll change the content. Okay? So like for example here, you have to put this script into your page. It was BloggerJet, right? So I'm gonna open up BloggerJet to show you where it is. So I will click right click inspect here, and so this is the HTML of the page, and I'm gonna search for patches. There it is. Sorry, let me pull this out so you can see. See? So that's how I know it works, because I have the script running on my page already. Okay? And so how do I use patches? Let's go back to BloggerJet. Right? Is that any of these issues here that have this lightning bolt next to it, I can use it for patches. Okay? There. If you hover over it, it tells you. This field has, this issue has fields that can be patched. So use, the other way is using Cloudflare. That's not available just yet, just JavaScript is available. So that's why I'm just showing you that version today. Let's say, I think what is the one that I said? Tag is missing or empty. Right, so all these pages don't have meta description tags. So if I want to patch it, there will be a column here, right? And then I can add like a meta description here. Like I've already used AI to suggest one for me. See, this one has exceeded the character length. So maybe I'll just do this instead. How to create tweetable quotes. So these are one of the older pages that this blog had, but so then I can click publish. So once that is published, so today's March 24th, right? I can open this page and check that it's published there. Right, again with the same method. So I look for description. Not this one. Not this one. Not this one. Things should be live. Let me. Dun 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 dun. Okay, I need to check. But I can show you, like, for example, the other one that I did, which was 3 days ago for email conversion rate. So this was the page for email conversion rate, right? There you go. So now I have added a meta description for my page. So that's how patches works. Here. Right? So that's basically how patches work. So I didn't have to talk to a programmer. This website, this BloggerJet website, is hosted on WordPress. I didn't have to open WordPress. I just used everything. Everything was done in Site Audit. So that is the, if you need to make changes like this, you want to do A/B testing, you want to basically try to change this to see whether or not you improve your ranking or improve the information that is shown on pages, things like that. I think if you open up all issues here, all tracked, it'll tell you all the ones that, yeah, you see here, all these ones with like lightning bolts, all of these are the possible features that you can change. Low word count, so you can add more content to your page too if you want, using patches. So even the page content can be updated if you want through this feature, just to see if you can test to see whether or not you can improve your ranking, or see whether or not you can fix some issues that a page has very quickly. You don't have to wait for your technical team for that. it does not, okay. Patches does not update your database. The original HTML that this page has, right, is not going to change. All that happens is that when the page renders, then this script will run. Patches. This one here, this is a script. So when this page loads, this script loads, and it goes all the way to that section where it checks like all your patches here. It will take note of, okay, I like the script will say, I remember that you want to patch this here. So I will go to the meta description and add that text for you. That's it. The original page does not change. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Well, yeah, at the edge. So basically what is finally rendered. Will it affect what Google sees? Yes, because Google does render all pages when it indexes them for ranking. So it also works for search engines, okay? It will not work for search engines that don't render content, but most search engines today render pages before they run, so. Yes, it's good for people who are like not as tech savvy. They just go through here and they can fix all the issues for you. I didn't have to talk to anyone. I didn't have to understand WordPress, nothing. Okay? So that's the cool thing about that feature. And also, yeah, there is an ability to use AI to suggest it for you. So that's also a feature that you can use, right? I can also like batch AI. So this, I'm not gonna like load everything, but like if I click this, I can basically use AI to suggest for all 50 of these, all 50 of these pages that don't have meta descriptions, right? So that kind of saves me time, especially if it's like, then I can just quickly go through, check the pages and make sure that the description looks reasonable, good enough, change any issues. Maybe I don't want to have Tim Solo in the meta description, things like that. Okay, and then post. So this also saves you time. Yeah. Where can I get reports for all links? Okay, sorry. Can you wait to the end of, we're already halfway through. I want to get started with other things today, and then I can help to answer your question afterwards. Okay, so now that we talked about patches, ASIA, so that's one of the new features that we've launched recently. Let's go talk about crawl settings. So here we are in the project settings. Why do I want to talk about this page? It's not even like the main report where all the issues are. Well, the answer is that not most, but a lot of times when people see issues, it's actually sometimes related to, like for example, sometimes people have come to us in support and they say, only 2 pages are crawled in this. Does like Ahrefs not see the rest of my website or things like that? And that's because usually somewhere in your crawl settings, it's not matching what your website is most optimized for. So for example, here by default, if you don't do anything, Site Audit will check your website's URL. They'll start at your website's URL here, like let's say BloggerJet, in this case, right? It'll start at the URL here, and they'll just start clicking things. They'll start clicking all these different links. And they'll start going through all these different links, and these become new pages. They'll check those pages, check the links on those pages, and keep clicking and clicking and clicking until like it reaches your setting limits, and then it'll stop. So that is how it checks like different pages for things. That's also how it discovers different pages about your website. And then the other way is through sitemaps, right? So these are the settings here. But you can add specific sitemaps. Let's say they're not part of your default and you want a specific sitemap. Let's say like I have a specific sitemap of new pages that I want to test, right? I then unclick these 2 and then I click just specific sitemaps, and then I can add the URL here. If I don't want to use a sitemap, I can just put in a bunch of URLs here. Just click put in a bunch of URLs and say, I only want to crawl these pages, right? So these are options that you can do. And then finally, I can also just click on backlinks. So why do I want to use backlink as a URL source? Because Site Audit can basically help you check for like pages that people are linking to that are broken and you have not redirected them. So when you click on this, what Site Audit will do is that it will go to here, this report, and you'll get all these links. So they will take this link here, this one, this one, this one, all these links that are this one, not broken backlinks. They will click on backlinks, so they'll get all the backlinks here from this report, and then they will start clicking on those instead. So that's how this source works. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and then crawl settings here. Sometimes there are like, so today there's a lot of websites that use scripts to render things. Like they use scripts to have animation on their website, or like to load like different content, different pages, different text, different images, stuff like that. And otherwise, if that JavaScript is not enabled, then like the website is bare, it's missing things, it's breaking things and stuff like that. So you have to make sure that JavaScript is enabled if you want to check the issues on the website after JavaScript has run. Okay, this will slow down your site audit, but most of the time, like people will say, hey, you know, when I open my website in the browser, I don't see this issue. One of the reasons is you probably don't have this turned on. So make sure you turn this on, especially if your website relies heavily on this JavaScript, right? Can I use Site Audit to check outgoing broken links? Like maybe I want to link to Google, or I want to link to OpenAI or something like that, and the links are broken. I want to check like instances here where they're broken. You can. You just have to check this option. Check HTTP status of external links. Okay? So Site Audit will not crawl outside of the project. So here, this is bloggerjet.com. It will not check any pages outside of bloggerjet.com, but it will check the HTTP status of these links that are outside bloggerjet.com if you click this. Okay, so that's what this is for. There was a lot of times I see this one being like flagged. So some people, if you have a very, very, very big website, right? And you might see a notification that says reached max depth level from seed. So remember earlier when I mentioned that how Site Audit works is that it goes to your front page, and then maybe it clicks on this, and then it looks for other links on this page, and it keeps clicking until it basically clicks on all the available pages on your website. So what I did just now here with your website is here, this is depth 0. Sorry, let's go back here. Right, so this is depth 0. So I've given you an example. Let's leave. So you can follow along here so that you can see what I'm talking about. If I go into Page Explorer of your project, right, I can actually search for this. Depth equals 0. So if I say 0, then these are like the pages that Site Audit starts crawling with first. See, there's a depth of 0 here, right? And because earlier I put the source as my website and sitemaps, so these are just the website and the sitemap like URLs. They're all depth 0. Sometimes, let's go to a different project. I'll show you an example of something that's not depth 0. Let's say if it's not inside your sitemap or it's not inside your website, then it's outside of that depth. Then I can look for depth. Actually, I can even just filter here. There. So for this particular website, I have crawled Quillbot's website just to give an example. They have a depth of 2. or here 1. Right, so they've done 1 clicking. This might not be the best example, but you'll be able to find this where basically, I think a good example is like e-commerce websites, right? Sorry. Okay, I'll come up with a better example in the future. But basically, you just keep clicking on a website, and then a lot of the pages that they get crawled are, let's go back so that I don't go too fast. Yeah, so just now I mentioned like depth is not 0. I just want to show you that like some of these pages don't exist in the sitemap, and they don't exist in the website. They're considered outside of depth 0. So a lot of these are URLs on this particular website that are outside of depth. So sometimes there are pages that are buried very deep in the website that the only way for a search engine or a human to find those pages is to keep clicking and clicking in other pages first before they see it. So how likely are you going to find, like, let's say if you're selling a product and the product is on depth 16, how likely are they going to find that product page? If it's not linked anywhere else, if it's not in your sitemap, if it's not like on your website and things like that, like not visible, easily visible on your website, how likely are people or search engines going to find such a page? Very unlikely, because no one's gonna, like, very unlikely are people gonna keep clicking until they find that particular page, right? So yeah, look, so if I keep clicking, and then like, let's say the only way to find this page is that I have to click other things here, you know, and then keep clicking. So this is, you don't want this sort of experience. So that's why in the site edit, in the settings, the max we usually put by default is 16. It's already very generous. You can technically go to 512. But do you really want people to click 16 times before they find a particular page? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Okay. Another thing that I want to mention is index now. So if you're not familiar with this protocol, then you should check out a lot of, actually this is a open source, I'm not sure, but it's a commonly used protocol by many search engines where essentially only if you notify the search engine via index now that your page has changed, then the search engine will go, okay, I'll crawl it. And that does 2 things. One is that your website's new updates and changes will get discovered more quickly. And 2, that search engines don't have to keep like crawling and checking your website to see if there's any changes. They will only check it if you tell them. And so any of the search engines that support index now, this is a good thing to have enabled for your website. So in Site Audit, we allow you to very quickly set that up. And all you have to do is just generate here, for example, and then you add this file, like this file, txt file in your root folder, having this text in the content. That's it. And then basically using Site Audit, you can submit to index now. And if you have a project boost, like either Pro or Max, Site Audit will do it for you automatically. You don't have to do anything. So anytime you do a Site Audit crawl and Site Audit detects that there are new pages to a website and new changes to your website, it will automatically submit it for you. You don't have to do anything after that. Okay? Otherwise, it has to be manually submitted through Site Audit. So this is a feature also you can take advantage of if you have it. Okay. So earlier, I showed you guys Page Explorer, which is when you go to any Site Audit report and you click this over here, Page Explorer. And essentially, you can also do this for Link Explorer. So with Page Explorer, I can explore any page that I want that was crawled by Site Audit. And technically, any of these issues here are just Page Explorer already pre-filtered for a particular like issue. So for example here, this is Page Explorer open, but there's already filters filled out for you. You don't even know. You just have to click the advanced filter here. You can see, okay, this issue is basically just pre-adding certain filters so that I can see them on my page. Okay. So why should I use Page Explorer? One of the, probably my favorite feature of using Page Explorer is being able to search the page text for a particular thing. So for example, most recently we changed the way, most recently we launched Web Analytics, which is a free tool, which is basically a Google Analytics alternative, right? So now if I want to, I can go to, so this is the Ahrefs blog, right? I can go to page text, contains analytics. So I can use this to filter through all the blogs that we have to search for any mentions of analytics. And I can check to see here. Now I have a list for all these pages that refer to analytics, like free tools, like Lee talks about Google Analytics and things like that. And then also just like go through these pages and edit them to say, oh, by the way, we also have our free Ahrefs analytics tool. I have a handy place for this now, right? I can do this again for maybe something like PPC. So recently we made updates to the way that we show paid search data that we provide for every website. And now I can check for all the blogs that I have that mention it so that I can mention our new tool or the new changes that we've made, right? 415 blogs mention PPC here. So I can go through this list and check. You can also filter for different kinds of resources. So let's clear this out here, right? I can say I only want to look at the image files that we have here, which is, and like check for them, so now I only am looking at images. I can see the URLs, I can check what are the sizes, what are the pages that are using them, right? So these are the different things I can do just from Page Explorer itself. So it's not just looking at issues, it's looking for just doing an overall holistic audit or checking for different things on your website. Site Audit can quickly help you do that here. How many crawls have I done? Okay, 2 crawls. So let's see if I can do this here. Something else I can also do is change the columns in terms of what they show. Let's reset this to all resources, or let's say, yeah, all pages. Right, so now I'm only looking at pages. I'm not looking at JavaScript files, or images, or anything like that. I can change what these columns show me. Right, so I open up here, columns. And let's say I want to look at, here, organic traffic's already selected, but I also want to select number of inlinks have changed. So number of all inlinks, I want Ahrefs inlinks. Here I want to add a new rule. Compared to the previous crawl has changed, right? You can even filter this for like has like not changed or dropped or something like that. But a lot of these fields will support this. Okay, so there's like 800 different pages where this has changed, right? I can also filter for organic traffic. Let's say like is higher than 200 there, so that I can focus on like the higher impact blogs, for example. There you go. See, now I have a handy report that shows me pages that I have linked to less, or like they have changed the number of inlinks. Oh, I can actually do it to dropped. Let's do dropped here, that have less links. That's what this filter is. Less links that have some traffic. I want to see how it has affected, like whether or not there has been a change in like organic traffic. Okay, so I can do a side by side by this and see if there's any improvement or in like lack of improvement and things like that. Then to go through this in detail, I can also export this into a Google Sheet or CSV and go through them one by one, and I can see how in number of inlinks for that blog has affected their organic traffic all in one page. So in this field here, you can scroll forever in terms of all the different things you can filter for. Yeah, so many things. OG tags, you can filter for like different metrics. In Ahrefs, you can search for like content in URL, like text in URL and things like that. Something that I want to make sure that you guys are familiar with is schema items. So let's say I want to look for pages that have video object. So some of our blogs, sometimes if you look at our blog, you see that we link like one of Sam's videos, right? And it could be like a tutorial, it could be something that it has like some latest video that is relevant to the title. I can actually filter out for specific schema items here and check them out all in one report for any changes in traffic. This is like the only place you can do this because it looks specifically to make sure that if I have added this schema object into this page, that I can filter, that I can see the changes like in organic traffic recently for these particular pages, and then see if it's worth adding this schema object to other pages, or other blogs and things like that. Okay, so these are just examples of what you can actually do in Page Explorer. It's a lot more powerful than people may know. Okay. Something I want to also quickly highlight here in Page Explorer. You may not know, but there's actually a very small part here at the top that allows you to check for the difference in pages between what you crawled last time and what you crawled this time. Right now I'm in Page Explorer, just Page Explorer. So I am looking, like if I filter for lost, see if you hover, you can see URLs that weren't crawled but previously matched your filter conditions. Meaning that like I changed something in my site audit settings and now I no longer crawl these 345 pages. You can click that to see what you've not crawled. This is useful for debugging. So like let's say there was like a sudden change in your site audit score and you have no idea how it started, how it happened. You can check here to say, did you like stop crawling a lot of your pages or suddenly crawled a bunch of other pages of your website that previously you were not checking? It is a good place to see that. The same for new. So this is like previously I did not crawl it, this time I have crawled these pages. Okay, so that's a good way of using these. This also works for any of the issues. So for example, I fixed a bunch of broken pages. This is a good one, right? URLs that weren't crawled but previously matched your filter, where no. All no change, new and filter results. So these are the new broken pages, for example, compared to last time. And the lost is basically a good place to check, like if I fixed broken pages, I want to make sure that the broken pages that I fixed are here, right? If it's not here, maybe I've not fixed it yet. And so that's how you use it, this particular feature for any issues or Page Explorer or Link Explorer. Okay. All right. Another thing that I want to mention No longer a new feature, but you should definitely check it out if you're not already using it. Hopefully the video should have audio. I think everyone else is able to hear, right? Can I double check that everyone is able to hear right now what I'm saying on the webinar? Hello guys in the chat. Let me double check. Looks like the audio is working. Yeah. Okay, people are saying they can hear. I'm sorry. Yes, this is on YouTube, right? So all live streams that have ended, you can watch the video again later. Hopefully you'll be able to fix your audio issues then and then like be able to check it out. Yeah, okay. So if you ask the questions and you have to leave, because we're getting to the end of the hour, you ask the questions, I'll scroll back up and answer them. And you can watch this video later when you have time. Or if not, stay to the end for questions that you have. All right, let's continue. I want to go to URL details panel. Where is this URL details panel, right? Let's go for here. Let's open this up. Any page, any link page. Where is this panel? It's all the way here. It's not a new feature anymore, but it's any time that you see an issue or an error or something, it is very useful to use this particular section because this part is what our crawler saw. So let's say the issue that was flagged is it detected like some broken link, right? Or it detected that there was some broken image or the image was too big or something like that. You want to see exactly what Site Audit saw and not necessarily what you open in a browser and see, because sometimes it may not match, right? Site Audit is visiting your website kind of like a search engine. It opens up your website in a headless browser and then it clicks through, it renders the JavaScript or something. It can be visiting from, like right now, I think Site Audit runs from United States. So maybe you have some setting where like visitors from United States changes the content, but you're not a United States. So you may see this error in Site Audit and then open it in a browser and go, oh, but I don't see the error here. I cannot find it. Okay. Use view source because then you can check the raw HTML. You can search for different content. Like in this case, I think link building strategies. Right. If let's say I want to search, or let's say I want to search for the title here, it gets highlighted here. You can click through all the parts where it gets highlighted, right? So that's one thing you can do for debugging. You can also check between the difference of raw and rendered. Like I mentioned earlier, before JavaScript has run, after JavaScript has run. Things change for almost every website. So sometimes you want to make sure that you have checked to see maybe a script is not running correctly. I mean, it's not changing correctly. Sometimes it could be something that only Site Audit sees for some reason, but normal people don't see. Use view source. And if you are debugging like some issue that is mainly related to page text, like, you know, it's not an issue related to JavaScript or meta tags or something like that. Like, for example, let's look at something related to content. Do we have anything related to content here? Yeah, sure. Multiple H1 tags. This page has multiple H1 tags, right? I can, again, view source. Please load. There we go. And I can click on page text. So now I also have a place to see, try and find, like, okay, look at all these H1 headers. And then this one is H2, H2, things like that. So I go, haha, now I found where the H1 headers are very quickly. And sometimes this is easier to see than scrolling through this, right? Especially for something that's text related. So this is just an easier view for me to see things. Another thing you can do is I can compare with a previous crawl. So that is a handy way for you to see the before and after if things have changed. I think in this case nothing has changed, but let me find an example where something definitely has changed. Changed. Okay, anyway, let me just click on some page here. Let me see if I can find an example for you to show like when there are changes between like something in the past. There. So they get highlighted in green when something like in the past versus now, there's like a new section. They're highlighted in green. Things that are removed will be highlighted in red. So I think over here, there's a bunch of stuff. Need to go all the way down manually. Here. Whee! There. All right, so I've added a link and removed the link. Previously, this link was there. In the current crawl, it's no longer there. So these are just examples of how to use this. So like it's good to say, okay, what changes have happened in the past from last time I crawled to currently I crawled. There's a handy place for you to check that. Okay? Again, like if you're mainly working on text, I think in this case, oh, there are changes. Oh, look at this. It becomes so much easier to see what I have changed on my page instead of looking through the HTML, right? If I'm not so technical, I can see what changes are made. So that's pretty cool. So use view source, guys. It's very handy. It's very useful for checking, like, especially if you're working in a team and like sometimes a page is suddenly spiked up or dropped, or people have told like, oh, there's some wrong information on your website. This is an easy way to figure out where they are. Okay? Where are we at? Oh, and finally, well, not finally, one last thing, and then one final thing. There is this hreflang issue. So if you have a website that handles multiple regions, multiple languages, okay? Here, previously I mentioned that I crawled this Quillbot website just to give you an example. I want to check for issues. Right? Where's the graph? It's gone. That's awkward. Okay, so here I can see whether or not hreflangs are not referring to each other, and I can click to see where in this case it's not referring back to the main English website. So like for example, it doesn't here I can see that it's not referring to German, but German is referring to English. This is a generally good place for you to see this. Okay, so like definitely if you have some hreflang issue that is flagged, all the hreflang issues have their own section. Here, localization. Right, you'll see a lot of these issues. If you have them, they were flagged, and the best way to look into them is that like your Site Audit will list all the different versions, hreflangs that you have here by default. Then for you to check them in detail is to go into this particular report here. Okay. And finally, I want to talk about custom issues. So I shared this with you guys earlier. So if we go back, Site Audit, you see the issue setting here that we talked about this earlier. And then I showed you that you can make custom issues, right? So if you want to create a new custom issue, it's not actually here, right? You can go to, let's go to any project really. Let's go to this project here. And then I go to Page Explorer. Here, top right, create an issue. All right, I can give it some name, and I can add it. If I wanted to add this issue for all projects, yeah, I tick this off. If I only want to track it for this particular project, tick this. I can add some information. So this is like a lot of times if let's go to a different issue here. Let's go to some random issue that we have. So let's say this one here. HTTP page has internal links to HTTP. There's this section here that says why and how to fix. We've added this by default for a lot of like issues to explain how to fix something. But let's say if I want to add like a custom issue and I work in a team and this report gets flagged, I can add information just like this here to explain like, oh, you know, this is some custom problem that we want to fix. We can write down like what the issue is about and how to fix it, and leave information for our team. It's a useful way to do that. And then I can decide in what category to put it. But most of the time for custom, we just put in other. Okay. So once I've added an issue, you get to see it. Let's go back. I don't want to actually add an issue, so I just want to show you how to add an issue, right? So remember, it's in Page Explorer, and you create issue here, top right. But let's take a look at all our issues. The custom issue here. I'll give an example of a custom issue that we've actually used. Sorry. Issue settings. Custom. See, the first one is external outlink. So I'm going to open the settings here so you can show you what exactly we did. Right? No, not this one. This one. Translated no hreflang. It's used in the Ahrefs blog. So let's look at the Ahrefs blog to see how it worked. Blog, blah, 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 blog. All issues. Okay, it was not flagged. So I didn't have any issues here. Yeah, okay, sorry, it was flagged. There you go. So this is my custom issue. It showed up, it got flagged normally. It also will affect the site audit score if I set it as an error. Okay, if I set it as an error, then yes, it will affect the site audit score. But that's okay, because for me, this is an issue. And that is the translated but no hreflang. So if we look at advanced filter, I can show you how it was set up. I set up this specific list of filters here, where basically it says there's no self-hreflang. And this is definitely one of the blog pages, so I don't care about category pages. It's indexable, it's not in the archive, and it matches one of the different languages. The URL contains one of the different languages that we support. Right? So of these blogs, if they don't have a hreflang, please flag it for me. So I flagged 15 pages here. Right? So I can look into them and I can see, check the hreflang, and indeed there's no hreflang. So that is important for us to fix, because we want to make sure that we link the English version with all these translated versions, which we sometimes work with translators for to create, especially for targeting different regions. Okay? So this is an example of a custom issue that we've set up. Yeah, okay, you're asking all these questions. I will answer them at the end. I just want to make sure we're so close to the end, guys. Then I can help to answer all the questions that you have. Because we're already at an hour. So another example is outgoing link added. So here. right? There you go. Why do we make this a custom issue? Sometimes, I think, especially in the past, we did this a lot more. You work with like freelancers, or you work with like different teams of people. And usually they should only focus on content or linking to other internal blogs. But if they, for some reason, link to an external like link or website, stuff like that, it's good for me if I work with such freelancers to see whether or not they're linking to their own websites as like a quick way to do self-promotion. And if you've negotiated with them, these freelancers, and they're allowed to add those outlinks, external outlink, then it's okay. I can quickly check them here to make sure that these are all URLs that are discussed that we're allowed to add. But in this report, I can check, okay, any pages that have like some random link that is linking out, because I don't want to link out to random websites that I've never agreed to. Oh, this one's forbidden, for example. Oh, this one's broken. So this is by adding this issue, I can show you how we've set out a filter for this. Is that we did external outlinks have changed, right? Then I can always keep track to say for any of the recent blogs that we recently worked with people to push out, for example, are there any that are linking outside of our website that are not approved by us? So that's what an example of this custom issue does. Okay, you probably have other things. Now that you've seen this, hopefully it inspires you to see other examples of custom issues that you can set up for your own team, for yourself, just to check, as part of your different workflow to make sure that any changes of your website between last week, this week, tomorrow, or something like that is in line with what you want for your website. Okay? Okay, so I've covered all the content that I wanted to cover today in terms of like cool advanced things that you can do in Site Audit. I already see a bunch of questions. Oh, this guy retracted all his questions. Egg Media, if you have some like detailed questions, I think, and it's kind of like out of scope for today, go to Ahrefs support, talk to our live chat, or email support@ahrefs.com. Yeah, I mean, they don't want to do, don't add links. So like if it's something that it's not related to Site Audit, or like it's a lot longer or it's specific to your case that, we have to check your account for, talk to our support team. If need be, mention that you're on this webinar, and I can help our support team to help answer your question for you. That's for like if it's a very tedious question. Support was not helpful. Okay. Can you create a new ticket, re-explain your issue, and this time say, please get in touch with Constance. So my name is Constance, right? I did not mention my name, but say that I want to talk to Constance, but do it through support@ahrefs.com, and I'll get in touch with the support team. Will reach out to me. We'll look into it, because it seems like you have like a more detailed thing, and it will be a bit hard to cover on this webinar. Okay, you have a question, QRGU. I saw it. All right, we're gonna do Q&A now. Let's start a Q&A. It's Q&A time. How do I? All right, there we go. Now I'm gonna start from the top. Okay, I hope that's okay. Why does Ahrefs' own website have so many issues? We have a team of like over 100 people. We're making page changes to, right, can I flag this? Pin message, yes. Pin this message so everyone can see it. We have a team of like over 100 people. We're making changes to the pages all the time. Sometimes we do experiments. Sometimes we have some like stuff that, one side is ready, but the other side's not ready, and it may affect things. So you see that for the purpose of this demo, this is 2004. So I deliberately crawled our blog during the times where I know we have issues. Like issues would just come, and then we fix them, and come and we fix them and stuff like that. Overall, even though there's so many issues, health score is 97. It's not like terrible because it's only a small proportion of our pages have issues. So the overall health of our website is fine, and we have enough of like a legacy of indexed pages and performance in Google, where usually a lot of these issues, unless they suddenly impact a lot of our blogs, don't really have an impact. But of course, we still want to fix them. So we just know that if the issues come up, we use Site Audit, they get flagged, we fix them. So it's like an ongoing cycle. Okay, unpin. I should have already answered this about how to get Ahrefs for free. We have the free webmasters tool. Can I only recrawl pages without doing a whole recrawl? This is for me, I have to talk about a feature that I don't know if I can talk about yet. Yes, here. Always on Site Audit, 30 minutes, 30 pages per minute. So automatically crawls your website to catch and report issues as quickly as possible. And it will prioritize pages that have changed, which means that it would basically crawl only the pages that you made updates for. Technically, this will recrawl the pages that you're looking to recrawl without a whole crawl, but it is more expensive. The other way to do this is very manual, but technically it is possible, is that if I go to all the issues here, right, and I have the URLs, like let's say these are, because like this is Ahrefs help articles, right? So these are all articles. So I can export this as a list of like URLs that I have fixed. Then I go to project settings and I go to URL sources and I just click custom URL list and I uncheck these two. Then I just put in the URLs that I have fixed. Then I don't recrawl my whole website. I just crawl these links. And also when you add this, in order to only crawl these URLs and nothing else, I also need to set crawl settings to max depth from seed. I put it to 0. So max depth from seed to 0. And URL sources only custom URL list. Then I save, then I start a new crawl. And then if I want to change this back later, then I can do that, but I have to make sure I change the settings first. This is the only way. It is very manual, but you can technically do this. Most of the time, if your website's not that big, we don't care. And also, I did mention before this feature of just checking what has changed here. This is a good way to have all these pages that have or new change, or no, new, something like that. So any of these features here, or I can filter for maybe page text has changed. So you're still crawling the whole website, but now I only want to see all the pages where the page text have changed. So I can filter for it. All right, so these are the options that you can do to check before and after, but that's it. You cannot like, oh, only crawl, like there's no automatic button to only crawl only the pages that were flagged for issues, because as you can see, there are many issues. It's a bit difficult. Okay. Unpin. Bum, 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 bum. It's fine, I mentioned that about that already. We can't really work on APIs to import and update their database directly from Site Audit because there are too many kinds of databases where this might work. Like, I think there's no sort of like easy way to allow this for anyone right now. So I think if we see this as like a very useful feature, like for example, if there are things that you want to see Ahrefs do that we currently don't do, we have a feature request board. Here, you can go to this and post like any of the features requests that you have. We already have like quite a lot of active people sending us like features that they'll like to see. But if you'd like to see features, anyone who also goes on this feature board, like you can go now, and if there are certain features that you see that people have already asked for, you can upvote them so that we know to see, okay, this is a very popular request that people want to see. Okay, so definitely recommend that you guys go there and check out. Yep. Can I change content with patches? Yes, you can. Sorry, we'll pin here. Specifically anything that is, I think, in the body or text, I think. Okay, let's go to all tracked. Where's all that section? Yeah, but it has to be flagged. Here, sorry, here, this one. It has to be flagged, low word count. Right? Only if it's flagged. Oh, sorry, this is for title. So no, you cannot. You cannot, sorry. You cannot change page text content using patches right now. I think it's a bit difficult to do it reliably. But you can change title meta description. If it's too short, if it's empty, something like that. Yep. Okay, what is the easiest way to fix page have links to redirect issue? It means what you want to do. I think if, let's see if I have an example here. I probably do. Let's look for redirect. Here. Pages have links to redirect, right? So what ideally you should do is that, let's say, like for example, on this article here. Let's get rid of this. We have a lot of outgoing links. And like, for example, this one are redirects. What I want to do is wherever I have this link, I want to replace it with the end location. Right? So it goes to, it redirects to this link here. So I want to put this URL instead, this one. I think that's what, sorry, hang on, let's go back. Outlinks internal. Oh, here, this one. This is about pricing, right? About Ahrefs usage-based pricing. Now it redirects to a different URL here. So I want to put in this URL instead. So basically, it's very tedious, but if you want to do redirect, change this, you need to put the final location, final target, and not like a redirect. Should you change all these links to make sure that they do not have links to redirect? Most of the time, if there's only like 1 or 2 redirects, you don't really need to do anything. Actually, you don't have to make these changes. Because it's only if, let's say, you have 6, 7, 8, 9 redirects that is like from one URL to another URL to another URL, then Google will start to penalize you, or search engines will basically start to penalize you. Right now, like 1 or 2 is usually something that doesn't really need work on. Okay? It will basically not have an impact on SEO if it's just 1 or 2 redirects usually. We currently have no like plans to go public. That's all I can say. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, there's another question. How can we run 2 different domains within a single Site Audit project? This is not possible. Sorry. Only one, like, okay. So here, right? In the settings, it's based on your scope. Here, it's whatever you put here. So either you start from the like a subdomain or domain or like a URL path. That's it. You cannot do a different domain. You cannot whatever it starts here. The scope here is set. Is all the pages that we can visit in Site Audit. People have asked for this to crawl multiple domains in a single project before. We currently don't have a way of doing it yet, but we are aware about this being a feature request. I think it's on the Canny board, so please do upvote it if you can find it. If I have time later, because now we're running over, but like if I have time, I will send it to you. I don't know how to do that here in YouTube, but yeah. So yeah, we can't do it right now. This is not related question topic. This is not a site audit question anymore. But since we're talking about it because it gets asked, I think every other webinar that I do, there's someone that asks, can I buy some servers for link building? I would like to point you to a blog written by Tim Solo himself. Here. It's on link building. This one. Buying backlinks. Here you go. I'll link it in the chat for you guys to see. This is our experience, what we see with link building. Okay? As long as the way in which you purchase services does not violate Google's terms and conditions, you may be okay. If it looks like this, usually it's not okay. Many people will be reaching out to you saying like, if it's just for specifically increasing your like domain authority, these are usually garbage links. These are usually garbage links. Okay? Please read this blog to give you some idea about what we see about this whole buying backlinks thing. Okay? Like it should answer pretty much anything about this whole buying backlinks. We don't do it. For our blog, we don't do it. Okay? Last question that I see. Some examples of URL rewrite. That's a good question. I'm not sure if we can do it on URL rewrite. I think it's not possible because I'm not sure what you mean by rewrite. I don't think you mean redirect. I think you mean rewrite. I don't think you're allowed to change. There's no way to change URLs with patches. And it's mainly title and web description and meta description right now. Can't change URL, sorry. Oh, you mean the settings. Sorry. Here, this one. Crawl settings all the way here. Rewrite rules. This is, from what I remember, this is a very niche use of this. Like most people will not ever need to use this, but the reason why we have this is maybe sometimes you want to mimic a particular behavior that you cannot do with, like let's say of a human behavior. Let's say they want to crawl from a specific location and you want to rewrite URLs to add like /en or something. Or /de, or maybe there is some promo code, so you want to do like promo code equals blah 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 at the end, right? And yeah, I want to add this on all the product pages that it gets crawled, something like that. So again, this has to match regex, yeah? So I cannot just add this, actually. I have to use regex here to add it in. Here, this one. Regex, sorry, it's called regex. But yeah, I can do that. So I can say I want all the product pages that I have on my website to add a promo code at the end. So this is a way to use URL rewrite rules. Then I can edit to see, okay, make sure that the promo code shows up, the price changes, something like that. So that's like a use case. Yeah. Okay. Hope that helps to answer the question. Hey, lots of questions. You guys have lots of questions. Pretty cool. Why Site Audit considers issue tag title changed? It has to do with the severity of the issue. Not all issues are problems. Sometimes issues are just a way to like note where something is there. Let's look at title changed, right? Title changed. Where's my title change stuff? Oh, it's not an issue. Right, it's this one. You're talking about this one. So it's not an issue. If you click why and how to fix, this is just a notice that the title tag has changed. This may affect how pages have appeared. So 2 things to note. It's just a place for you to check which pages have changed the title from the last time you crawl and the current time that you crawl. It's also blue. It's a notice. Anything that is a notice and a warning will not affect your site audit score. Only errors do. This one, the red ones, right? Again, you can configure this that let's say you want to get it to flag to affect your site audit score, right? In the issue settings that we saw earlier, you can increase the severity if you want. You can also decrease the severity. You can do whatever you want to adjust this. But it's by default, whether or not title has changed or even meta description has changed or H1 tag has changed, a lot of these, they're just there. They're not problems. They're just a place that Site Audit will check for you and sort of highlight it for you to say, hey guys, I've saw that all these pages have changed their H1, their SERP title, their word count, their meta description, that's it. It's not a problem necessarily. That's why it's not red. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Can we do rewrite on subdomain? You can do, okay, so I think you are talking, so this one, right? This question. I think you're talking about this one again. This URL rewrite settings, rewrite rules. As long as you set up the regex, 2 things. The scope of your project needs to include that subdomain so that Site Audit can see it. And secondly, the regex rules need to match the subdomain. So you have to put like the subdomain here. We have this article here, right, that talks about how it works. We have some examples here. You can do like for a subfolder, you can do a subdomain. It has to follow a particular pattern here, and you can write it. Then yeah, it will fit. And if you want to test to make sure that your URL works, the one I use is regex 101, regex 101. Here. So you put in your expression and then you test like your subdomain, like URL, like example.website.com, right? And then you put your expression here. You want to make sure that it matches this string. So here you can use this. So this is what I also use to use regex rules. Okay, so technically, yes, you just need to set it up correctly. Hope that answers the question. Are there any more questions? Very, very active guys today. Are there any more questions before we go ahead and end the webinar? Going once, going twice. for any questions, huh? So if no questions, I want to quickly highlight. Let's see if it's available you already. If you came to our conference last year, we have a new one coming soon. This is 2024. And Ahrefs Evolve this year is in the US. So stay tuned. And if you want to know about different events that are coming up, go to ahrefs.com/events and sign up here. Put your name, email, stuff like that. And if, like, for example, if we have events that are in your location or specific countries, you get notified as well. Okay, so please get in touch if you want to. Like, sometimes we do workshops, we do meetups and stuff like that. So please get in touch. Okay? Yeah, and these are all the events that we held before in the last year. This is mostly Evolve stuff. But that's all I want to say. Anything else? I would say thank you everyone for coming to today's webinar. I'm so happy you guys came today, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Let's see if I have, after this webinar, if you click to be notified, there is also a link to sort of give your feedback about this webinar and what share information about what you like, what you didn't like, or what sort of content you'd like to see in another webinar going forward. Okay? That's all. Thank you, everyone. I'll be ending the webinar now. Wish you guys luck, and see you guys soon. I'll just hang out for a bit to see, in case you guys want to ask any last minute questions, but like, yeah, feel free to leave the webinar now if you need to leave. Oh, one last question. Then the last one. Where's your server location? We have many servers. I'm not sure if I actually have the answer for you right now. Oh, not this one. Wait. I think it's this one. Yes. I think it doesn't say. But we don't add cookies. We should be GDPR proven. I think I'll check with our team and get back to you. It might be the US still. But we do have servers in multiple locations. Yeah. So, sorry, I don't know. I'll have to check with our team and get back to you on that. Okay? Okay, thanks everyone. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. See you in the next webinar. Wish you guys the best. Any further questions, you can contact our support. If you really need to, let the support team that you want to ask a question specifically to me, and then I'll get back to you through that route. Okay? Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.